right. Hello, hello. How are you? You guys are both muted, but
Great. How
happy
are
to.
you?
I'm doing well. I know you have big wins, Jasmine, and then Alana, welcome. I think this might be your first time here. Also, and I think she might join, if not, all good, but we actually had Lucy report in the DMs, and I'm sure she'd be happy to have me share this, that she got three new clients in the last week,
Great.
which is
Yay.
massive because if you guys have
Yes.
been following us, she's been working on a couple of things, but yeah, let's start with some wins. Jasmine, we'll have you go in a bit, but Alana, welcome. If you can tell us a little bit more about yourself for the recording, and then we got other people coming in. But yeah, tell us a bit more about what you're working on, then maybe a win or something that you'd like to share.
Thank you, Luis. I am trying to build a branding business. Hi, Jasmine. It's good to meet you. I went to art school. I've done lots of different campaigns. Any so I'm good. I'm really good with Photoshop, and I love designing book covers and first touch points, digital architecture, UX design, like all the little digital touch points for brand continuity when it comes to getting discovered, having signature colors, signature typography, signature look, and all that, and then also just monetizing information. So worked in I worked for a think tank in New York. I've worked with like very mission driven kind of thought leaders. And I noticed that a lot of the smart people that I love listening to their podcasts and I love listening to them talk about culture and big ideas, they were not monetizing their information. And so what I'm trying to build is a business where I serve thought leaders. Um, so I have a website called speaker.salon. I've done health conferences and things, and I'd
Yeah,
like to work with doctors who, they are ready to put down their legacy and write a book and all those kinds of things. But I guess if were to say a win, um, this week, I've been building up my TikTok and trying to master that app, and I'm kind of getting a better understanding of how to monetize TikTok as a platform. And I'm
yes,
starting to pull people into my school community off of TikTok. So,
perfect.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll dive into some of that, and we'll hear a little bit more from Jasmine. I know you're busy there working, but share a little bit more about your win. I know that you went out on a kind of on a whim to an event, but then it turned into something like a great opportunity.
Yeah. So hello, everybody. And again, Jasmine. And so I was invited to participate at a local business vendor fair to honor Black entrepreneurs in my local area and to also celebrate Black History Month. And so I actually went out on a whim, like Louise said, not really sure what to expect, but just using it as an opportunity to get my face out there and just meet some people in my local community and share more about what I'm passionate about and what I do. So, unbeknownst to me, both of the biggest like local news stations in my area showed up, right? So, Channel 14 News, Channel 25 News. What's interesting is that my brother is also like an up and coming entrepreneur. Our tables are actually side by side. So, that was just a win that this is like a family thing. It's really cool. So, he was on Channel 14, and then they featured a little brief spot on me on Channel 25. So that was amazing. I've been getting so many messages on Facebook like, "Oh, we saw you on the news. Tell us more about, what you're doing." And I thought you were with the bank, but okay, this sounds like it's something different. And so it's just been awareness. And now I'm definitely out of that not comfort
Yes.
zone, but that imposter syndrome, right? And being afraid to speak up and being afraid to actually represent myself outside of my 9 to 5, that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
so,
thing.
so that's a big win. It's a big win that I'm actually excited about talking more about me and that I'm not associating like who I am with what I do for a living.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the big shift that we were getting also last time on Tuesday, Alana, is this idea of, and I'm getting chills thinking about it, is really looking at where are we at in our journey and coming to terms with like what is our big why and being very solid on that so that when opportunities come up, we don't doubt, should I do it? Should I go? But we know, hey, that's in alignment actually. That's like exactly what's going to get me to this next thing. And then naturally you start to attract and you start to become magnetic because to your point, Jasmine, you let go of this like, I don't know, this uncertainty, this, imposter syndrome or whatever, and things start coming in. But let's go back to you, Alana. For you at this point, when it comes to maybe the sales or putting yourself out there, reaching out to people, what are some of the things that you're working on or might be struggling, or some of the challenges that we can kind of troubleshoot here together?
Thank you. When we spoke privately before, it was developing like daily habits and like a routine
Oh yes.
to drive traffic and getting just. I mentioned the word chicken, just being kind of a coward in terms
I
of like direct
remember.
messaging, and I kind of feel like with the direct messaging to people, there's some type of power dynamic issue that I feel like if I were to ask them in a DM to check out my branding services, I haven't,
Mm,
it's not as, like, I feel like with ads or when people discover you on their own, the power dynamic is different where where you're kind of unavailable and then they have to try to get your attention or they self-select into your services more. Um, I don't know if I'm just overthinking it and too much in my head. I've seen Alex Hormozy talk about like you need to just DM 100 people a day until you get money in the bank in sales. I have not actually done that. I'll get to like 10 DMs
yeah.
and quit. So,
Yes. Yes. I love this topic, by the way, because full transparency, I have felt that way at times. Sometimes I still feel that way, right? Because this is why I love to host these containers because it gives us a chance to know, number one, you're not alone. Like this is a commonality, right? Whether it's imposter syndrome or like power dynamics, that's part of the process. So that's number one. Number two, it comes down to this very simple idea of associating pain and pleasure to the activity. So sometimes it's just awareness, right? So let's break this down for you. When you think about, and we have Kai coming in here. So when you think about reaching out to somebody, right? It sounds like you're associating a lot of pain or it's like there's something there, right? It's not pleasurable. Kai, what's up, man? So Alana, would you agree that there's this part of you that feels like you're associating a lot of pain to that, or like it's painful, or it's uncomfortable?
yeah, DMing people, I'm like, I dread it.
Yes, there you go. So now what we want to look at is there a possibility for you to slightly shift towards the opposite, which we can go from dread to excitement or opportunity, right? So let's walk through that. And it all starts with tell me about, just in a nutshell and literally in one sentence or two, why would it make sense for you, Alana, to like reach out and connect with people, if anything at all? Why could it make sense?
So, I remember we discussed this a little bit before of like, I do confidence in what I have to offer and
Mm,
feeling a certain um confidence that I have what they need and
mm,
that I am helping people solve their problems by letting them know and by actually engaging with them on a professional level, transforming their problems, like solving their problems for them. I am helping them, and by denying them knowledge of my offers, I am keeping them in a state of suffering. I'm
mm.
prolonging their suffering.
Mm.
I
That's
remember
right.
discussing that.
That's big. And so now it's beautiful you have clarity around what happens to them, but then what happens to you? How does that impact your business? How does that impact you and your ability to be in a good place? Whether it's financially, mentally, emotionally, how does that affect you by not reaching out?
Yeah, it's just total self-betrayal by not doing. I mean, I'll I'll build 90% of the machine, and then that last 10% of just like pitching it to people. If I don't do
Yes.
that, then it's total self-betrayal and all my time's wasted. And
Yeah.
like
Yes.
I wrote a book. This
Yeah.
took a lot of time. And for me to not like let people know that this exists, and for me to not let people know that my branding services exist, I'm just wasting my time and spinning my wheels and betraying myself.
There we go. And so the question becomes, are you willing to settle for that?
I can't afford to settle for that anymore. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
die
Because
poor.
ultimately, what do you want?
Um, I want uh, to not waste my life. I want to be able to like
What do you want? Like what is it that you desire?
freedom,
Okay.
relationships. I want to be
Okay.
able to go to concerts and have
Okay.
pleasurable experiences and see the world and eat decent food and get dressed up and look pretty and not feel like I'm freaking poor all the time.
Right. So you want freedom, you want connection, you want to live, you want to get out there, right? And I think all of us do, right? We got Jasmine showing some love there. I think that's all of us. So now here's the thing, and then I'm getting chills, Alana. What if this is an opportunity for you to see that every time you decide to reach out to someone, it's actually deciding to bet on yourself and on your future and on this vision that you have. But how does that work? Well, it's really you're just planting a seed. When you're reaching out to someone, you're not even bugging them or like interrupting them. All you're doing is inviting them. So whenever we plant a seed, we're inviting that seed to what? To grow, to flourish. But it doesn't just grow and flourish because we planted it, right? We have to water it, we have to nourish it. So what if every time you reach out, you make the decision to, hey, you know what? Let's connect. Let's put it out there, not for me, but because I want to live, I want to enjoy my life, I want to get out there, I want to connect, I want to share, I want to be impactful. So for you, is that a possibility to start seeing a connection, a DM, not as, oh, I'm bugging them or I'm selling them, but hey, I just want to connect with them. I want to share with them because ultimately I want to live my life at a bigger, in a bigger way. Is that a possibility for you?
Yes.
And why?
Um, I mean, I understand the power of the subconscious mind. I understand the concept of planting seeds, and I love that framework. And I have already helped people, and I know that I can help them. And so I need to get out of my own way and just plant these seeds because it could,
Mm,
I could
yeah,
freaking plant a forest, a rainforest, if I were to
that's
just
right.
plant all the right seeds.
Yeah. And by the way, when you think about traveling and eating decent food and all these things, like, is that fun for you? Is that exciting? Like, what do you call that? What's that an example of?
Just uh, dignity, I guess. Just dignity. That's what I want.
Yeah. And then so when you have more of that, what would that get you?
Relationships. Um,
So dignity, relationships, but then what does that ultimately give you? What feeling? It'll make you feel what?
are you hunting for the word like happiness or something?
No, like ultimately, what state do you want to live into, right? Because dignity is not a state, right? It's just more something that you are or have. But what emotional state would that get you? Dignity, relationships, what would that get you emotionally?
Contentment and peace.
Okay, peace, right? So now watch this. What if every time you reach out to someone, you're stacking these, you're laying these bricks to build your house of peace? every time you reach out to someone, you're stacking, you're creating, you're setting up walls for this beautiful mansion of peace and love and fulfillment and excitement and dignity and strength. Every time you reach out to someone, you're literally planting a seed. You're laying a brick to actually build that house of peace.
Do you see my tears? That image is so beautiful. Bricks of your mansion of peace. Oh my gosh.
So every time you DM someone, by the way, that's what shifted for me, Alana, is I said, holy crap, every time I reach out to someone, I'm not bugging them. I'm not like bothering them. I'm literally building something meaningful for me and my family, and I get to serve this person. They may not respond. That doesn't matter. What matters is that I did it. I'm doing it. I'm building. I'm creating. You're very creative. You created a book, right? So you can do this. And it's all about remembering what? What do you have to remember? What do you have to remember now?
I think I think it's a matter of like writing it into my calendar and like making the time, like boxing off space to do the DMs, setting a goal, and then figuring out the cadence of it, like the,
Mhm.
how actors and comedians, they have like bits, they have
Mm-hmm.
like little sentences and phrases that they repeat over and over again in hooks, and then they figure out the ones that work, that like make the audience laugh every time. You know what I mean? Things that just work in terms of getting the person to
Mm,
respond positively to the
yeah.
pitch.
So then who do you need to become as you do that? Every time you remind yourself, hey, you know what? I just need to make time for this. I want to make time for this. I'm laying down these bricks for this beautiful house of peace and love and fulfillment. Who are you becoming as you keep doing that? Who are you becoming?
That is a good question. I mean, I found myself, so I've been doing TikTok lives every morning for the
Okay.
last like week and a half. And this morning I found myself like trauma dumping on my TikTok live audience. And I realized I had this moment of like, why am I always bringing up
Mm,
past traumas? Like when do I get to be the person who has fun things to talk about?
right.
You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So who do you need? Who do you want to become? Right? Like maybe is it the fun Alana? Is it the creative Alana? Is it the magician? Like what? Who do you want to become?
Yeah, I want to be the type of person that like goes and spends time at art museums and goes to concerts and has a romantic life where
Mm,
I'm always at like a boutique hotel.
like an artist. You see yourself like an artist, Alana.
Yeah, I want to be more of an artist and the type of, but not a starving artist, but someone
Right.
who like brings back romance into the world and shares that to my clients. Like
Okay. What about an abundant artist? Like a successful artist. Or well, what do you think? Like what's your words?
I actually tattooed the word abundance on my
Okay.
wrist when I
Yes,
was
there we
when
go.
this is like
Right?
a prison tattoo that I did with a needle,
I got
and
you.
it would be great to bring this theme back. Like
Okay.
I've been trying to get this for freaking 20 years.
Yes. Well, there we go. So then this is an opportunity for you, right? It all stems from this identity. Who do we get to be? And we get to create this, right? So Jasmine went in a matter of a decision from, oh yeah, I'm just working at a bank to now people saying, oh wow, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. Wow. Tell me more. So she's now an entrepreneur, like right in people's eyes. But that's how we co-create reality. We have to make decisions, put ourselves out there, and then people start to see us in that light, and then we can then it's like reinforces us,
Right.
right? So for you, what is it? Is it the abundant artist Alana? Is it like the abundant Alana? Like what is that identity if you were to kind of name it?
Like just creative, period. Like I want people to think of me as a creative professional, like a
There we go. There we go. So write that down, right? I'm an abundant creative professional. I'm a creative, period. Have that as a sticky note in front of you every time you're reaching out to someone, every time you're doing a live, every time you're literally creating, right? Because when you send the DM, aren't you creating a connection? You're literally creating an opportunity for them to be served, for you to be connected, for you to be fulfilled, right? So every time you do that, that's all you have to remember. Hey, all I'm doing is laying down these bricks to this beautiful house of peace. I'm planting the seeds of connection. I'm reaching out. It's fun. It's exciting, not in the meantime, but in the long term progression of my goals and myself and this identity of I am creative. I am abundant. Okay. So what's your takeaway from all of this?
I was tearing up, man. I think we hit it. It was like great, very meaty for the amount of time we just spent together. The
Yeah.
I love the stacking bricks to build my mansion of peace. I'll have to do like a meditation hour, just plugging this in because yeah, it's an identity thing. It's definitely an identity thing, and how I talk to myself and the habits have to support this identity that I want.
There we go. So now, Jasmine, what are you gathering from this, or how is this impacting you, if at all?
Oh my God. In every way, my notes over here, and then just my heart. For one, I'd have to leave with this, so I'm gonna have to drop off in like 3 minutes because I'm on
I
a lunch
got you.
break at work. But Alana, my heart is just so full listening to you, and I just want you to know that I am so impressed with you, and I'm so proud of you. I'm really proud of you for how you're even choosing to show up right now in this moment. Like this is a new space. This is a new environment. We just met a few minutes ago, right? Just saying hi, right? But for you to even allow yourself to be as open and as vulnerable as you are in this moment, I'm like, what? Like you're already doing it and you are already flowing like in that identity that you are building. Like you're doing it. So I'm just so happy for you. I'm really glad that you are here. And everything that you're doing right now, keep flowing in that.
Thank you.
I really, wow, my heart. You have my heart already.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There's so much, Luis, that I just relate to from her share, and then hearing that the stacking of the bricks, the building of the house of peace, very deeply,
Mm,
very spiritually, that resonates and aligns with me. I
yes.
too would identify myself as a creator. I
Mm,
too would identify as a person who desires abundance and prosperity for not only myself but for everyone in my space. And I would like in my core identity to just a posture of a child. And that's who I am. That's who I always want to be, a person who's always learning, always growing, who just can't get enough of connecting and enjoying the life that she was painting, right? Because when I think about like the essence of a child and that identity, you're so open, you're so
yeah.
curious, everything's new, you're enjoying people, you're lending yourself to
Mm,
the moment, you're always present. And
mm,
that's how I see myself. And that's who I see myself as, desiring to continue to become just someone who's just
mm,
always present in the moment.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. And then being able to lend myself to like creating the opportunities that are just going
Mm,
to cause myself and everyone in my space to thrive.
yes.
And I don't know if I would have even been able to have had language for that if it wasn't for like that exchange between you and Alana just now. So I really appreciate that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And as we help you now, what is coming up? I know you got jump in a couple of minutes here,
Yeah,
but
a couple minutes.
yeah,
I
and
do. What's coming up for me right now is very similar to her. So, for example, I created a Google Doc to grab some names, some email addresses, some cell phones, and I haven't done anything with that. I know we have like another meeting coming up later on, but so right now I kind of feel like a little frozen in the next step. I'm looking more at what I don't have yet, like, CRMs and email lists and all these things. But I made some great connections. I have some good leads and some great information. And now it's just like, okay, what do I
yeah,
do
what do
with
I do?
this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. There's some resistance there that's well, I'm fighting the
There we
negativity
go.
that's trying to get me to buy into the lie that, oh, this event was 2 days ago. You've missed it. It's too late now. Like I'm fighting
Right.
that.
Yes.
And then at the same
Yes.
time, it's like, well, what's the follow up? Like, what's really the offer? So, I mean, it's a
Right.
lot of that. It's a lot of that. So I know I don't
Okay.
have enough time to unpack it all, but
I
at least I
know.
was able to put it out there.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about it is it's actually very much related in the sense that right now there's this story in your mind, naturally a narrative, and so you get to create a new narrative. You get to create a new narrative around like, wait, hold on, I get to reach out to them and connect with them, and everything happens in divine timing, and I'm always at the right place at the right time. Now we start to reinforce our own belief systems, whatever you truly believe, who you truly are beyond the fear, beyond the doubt, beyond the worries. And you're very intelligent in terms of like being able to categorize, is what's coming up right now based in fear or based in abundance and love and being faithful. Right? It's very easy to be like, well, those are just thoughts. That's not even me. Those are just thoughts that are trying to come in. I don't need to accept my thoughts. Like those are
Yeah.
not even my thoughts. I don't need to accept those. So then we get to say, okay, I'm thinking this way. That's not what I want. And maybe if you write this down, it's above and beyond what's coming up for me. What do I really want? That's going to serve you tremendously. Okay, above and beyond what's coming up for me right now, before I send these emails or call these people or just reestablish the connection, what do I really want? So then that'll point you in the right direction in terms of like, well, what I really want is to keep building momentum and help these people and grow my business and get some clients and be impactful and get some revenue in. The more you focus on that, the more that creates fuel for you to say, yeah, I just got to reach out to them. I just got to do the work, similar to Alana, right? So then it's like a full circle. For you though, it's this idea of like, how do we sometimes those thoughts trigger inaction, but how do we get this awareness of when those thoughts come in, have that trigger a moment of reflection and space, to your point, being present, so you get to practice presence and be like, well, that's not necessarily true. I'm not relate with this. What do I ultimately want above and beyond those thoughts? Well, I want to impact, and usually that'll give you enough of an of a spark to start moving in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good because once I actually start, I mean, the flow is just there. And then
Yes.
before I know it, I have more than enough to do with. And then that's the new problem because now I have all this and then what to do and where to go and all of that.
Yes.
But it's that starting. It's so good. That
Yes,
was good.
that's right. There
Yeah.
we go.
Is this
Awesome.
recorded? Can I catch the recording?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we
Okay.
always record these. We post them here in the community. So we'll
Okay.
post it usually within the next 24 hours. So go ahead and review that. But anything else, Jasmine, or what are the takeaways?
Takeaway is to continue to leverage the power of community,
Mm,
to continue to show up in these spaces and align
yes.
myself with people who already are like in the same like
Yeah.
space or growing. I don't think I really realized, Luis, like how powerful and how important it really is for me to connect with groups and communities
Yes.
like this. So that's my number one takeaway is that I gotta continue to like grow, like, and where I'm being
Mm,
watered, I gotta continue to
yes.
to
Right.
show up. Yeah, to show up and not be
Literally.
afraid to ask those questions. And then learning from the experiences of the other people here. Like
Yes.
that's a huge takeaway. This is so good.
Yeah. Well, last thing, and we'll let you go. If I hadn't reached back out to you, if I hadn't reached out to you, Alana, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
So good.
Right? Like this is you're living into the proof of, hey, whenever I reach out to someone, it's gonna create this magical, awesome, amazing thing. I know it will. I don't know when, but I know it will. And it just comes back down to faith. But I know you gotta run. But thanks so much, Jasmine, and we'll
Okay.
share the recording in a bit.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right, fantastic. All right, so back to you, Alana. So beyond that, right? As you start to integrate, maybe the lesson there around, yeah, having almost like a good time with reaching out to people because it's for a bigger purpose, right? It's for that mansion of peace. Beyond that, what else is coming up for you?
Well, I guess I've had a packed schedule, and so it's been a matter of I've tried so many different things, and a lot of the stuff has like not worked out. And I
Mm,
think one of my barriers of putting energy into like a campaign or something of effort, I feel like there has been a lot of effort poured into different people and projects, and then for it to not make the money that I wanted it to, or for it
yes.
to be, certain people have been a drag, like a major drag
Mm,
to pour into. And
mm,
so part of my barrier of reaching out to people is like, I don't, I have a fear of another bad experience with someone.
yeah, because if you have another bad experience, what would that mean?
Just the energy vampires where they like take all your time and you're not making money because they're just energy vampires.
So it feels like you're what? You're
Drained, exhausted, depleted. So
mm-hmm.
I guess I need some type of boundary or filter for client to make sure that I'm only working with clients who just won't deplete me.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, so what's coming to mind is this idea of a filter. You want to filter in all the great clients that energize you, that inspire you, that pay you, that whatever, they appreciate you. So the more you create that filter and that boundary, the more you will filter out naturally the ones that you can kind of get a sense of, hey, you know what? I don't think this is gonna be fruitful for any of us or for myself, and just being okay with that. So in the past, what has kept you from doing that, from creating that boundary, that filter?
I don't think I've had a good boundary or filter. I
Uh,
think I need a
mm,
some like a technique like that in order to confidently reach out. This morning, I'll tell you, like on my TikTok live, I'm in the nobody is coming. I'm not big enough yet. Like I'm the most people I've had in my room at one time because I just started is like 9 people. But
okay.
um, this Egyptian guy starts hitting on me in my live room, and I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to deal with for women it's like very vulnerable, and like I'm there to be professional, and I had to say
Yeah.
I'm turning 40 this year, and finally, when I was 16 and 18 and 20, and I was like young and pretty, like I didn't want to be rude to anybody, and I just didn't know how to filter out like basically sleaze bags and people, the men who are just they're they're never going to pay you for branding services. They're just there because they are hitting on you and stuff. And
Mm,
so now at age 40, I just told the guy, I was like, he was like, "Can I DM you?" And I'm like, "If you're going to hire me for branding services, you can, but I'm not here to date and I'm not interested in any kind of romantic thing." And I just realized, like, did it really take me this long to be able to say that straight up?
no.
Like, bro, I'm not interested in dating you. And
Mm,
and I think that that's a big part of why I am not successful in business is because like I don't know how to tell people to fuck, just be. I'm here for professional reasons. This is
yes.
like a total therapy session. I'm just being honest. Like this
Well,
is
no,
I need
this
a
is,
filter.
yeah, it's interesting because right? Like businesses are driven by people. So businesses are vehicles. The driver is really what's important, right? And so we are the driver. And so, yeah, if there's things that have come up for us that have kept us from maneuvering our vehicle in the best manner, then like that's important. So no worries. So then for you, you haven't had that boundary, right? Or haven't been able to communicate it clearly. So now, at this point, why could it make sense for you to say, you know what, like, I want to own myself and my professionalism and also, by the way, have a layer in there where it's not making assumptions or maybe not viewing every interaction where maybe they show appreciation, but then we view it as, oh, they're hitting on me, and then we get defensive because sometimes we don't really know. So how do you balance that, right? How do you balance holding your ground, holding your space, your professionalism, with also not setting yourself up for maybe prejudging people? How do you do that?
Um, I haven't done it successfully. I don't know. Like that's something I have to. I like you're asking me probing questions, and it's creating the space that like I've never had a container where
Yeah.
someone probes me for these questions. So I'm just kind of things are occurring to me in real time here,
Yes,
and
this is the work. This is
it
it.
yeah. I just how do I filter out
How can you? How
energy
can you?
vampires?
Yeah, you're creative, right? So, like, how could you? Like, what's one possibility out of a million and infinity options? Like, what's one option?
I used to just hide.
Okay, well, that's an option that we won't go with, but what's another option?
Um, I mean, I guess I need to find out what other women are doing who, they want to be attractive. Like when I present, I don't want to be like frumpy and ugly because that's a defense mechanism that actually a lot of women use is they show up and they look like
Right.
crap and that's how they protect themselves from getting hit on is they're unattractive as a defense mechanism. Like all these women with like blue hair and
Yes.
stuff, it's like they're
Yes. Yes.
repelling negative attention.
Yes.
I want to be attractive, but um, so I wear
So,
modest clothes, but I wear makeup.
um,
But maybe I can research some of these other women and what they do to protect themselves. I don't know.
yeah, definitely do that. And I have some ideas, but I'm looking to see how you can get resourceful here because you do have the ability. So let me ask you this, right? We came up with an identity of a bit ago, this side of you that's creative, that's abundant, that's the abundant artist Alana, right? Or whatever that side of you is. What if you were having a conversation with that person, that abundant person, that creative person? What would that person tell you? How would that person guide you to do that?
I'll have to think about that.
Okay. So one thing that's coming to mind is communicating your intention clearly. And that's called setting an agenda.
Uh,
Just tactically, that's all you're doing. You're setting an agenda, you're setting a direction for the conversation, for the interaction. You're leading the conversation because you have an intention, right? So how you do that is whether it's an in-person interaction or maybe a Zoom call, you lead the way because you're the coach, right? So it's like, let's say you're coming in on my call, which you have in the past, and I don't know if you remember how it went, but usually how it goes is like, hey, so let's say I'm you, right? And let's say like you're me. So then I'm looking at myself right now. I would say, hey, Luis, welcome. My name is Alana. I'm excited to connect with you. The intention and the goal for this conversation is twofold. I just want to get to know a little bit more about you, your coaching business. I have several creative services that I can possibly offer, but obviously it all starts with kind of where you're at. But yeah, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Where are you tuning in from, Luis? So then you're being professional, you're stating your intention, you're stating all this stuff. And then if I don't respect that, if I try to then like flirt or say like, yeah, I'm here, what about you, and like take the call in a different direction, that's when you can then feel into that and say, hey, Luis, I appreciate all that, but just so that we can stay on track with today's agenda, tell me more about this side of your business, or tell me more about this. Now if you do it once, twice, and the saying goes, three strikes and you're out, you can then say, hey, you know what, Luis? I appreciate the conversation, but at this point, I'm gonna have to end it because I just feel very uncomfortable, and I don't think this is gonna really fit. And you're just communicating it from a place of authority and power and honesty, not from being rude or being like a bee, right? Right? Not being a bitch or anything. Like you're just saying, hey, I gave you a chance. You didn't like honor that. Therefore, this is the consequence. That's it. So it's stating an agenda, stating a purpose, stating an intention of the call. If it's a virtual Zoom, if it's in person, it's the same idea. It's not going to be as kind of formal or structured, but it's more like you're in a networking event, you're talking to someone, and through the conversation, you can feel, hey, where's this going, or what's this about, and then you get to then direct it back to, okay, so that's cool. Now tell me about the business, or that's cool. Tell me about what you do for work. So you get to choose based on your questions how you're leading that conversation. And that's how you can set a boundary.
I'm writing this all down.
Okay. So how does that land? I know you're writing it down, but how does that land for you?
I mean, it's so simple. I don't know why it's been such a problem for me, but
Hmm.
having a, yeah, just being able to say what my intentions are. Like, I'm
Yes.
here for professional reasons. I mean, let's talk about branding. I'm not interested in uh, romantic relationships. If that's what you're into, that's not a good fit. You need to, maybe someone else can fulfill that need you have, but I'm not it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just literally speaking our intention out loud, but making sure it comes from a place of creating, not destroying. Creating an opportunity for them to say, "Hey, get on the boat, get on the train, get on the bus or not."
Right.
It's telling them, hey, so let's say they're hitting on you, or I don't know what they tell you, but then that's an opportunity for you to say, like, hey, thank you for that, I appreciate it, and boom, you go back into the other things, like, hey, no, I appreciate that, and boom, like, and so let's go back to the conversation around your business. When it comes to creative arts or what, however you talk about what you do, um, go back to that. So it's just becoming a master of redirecting, getting people back on track. And again,
Yeah.
it's really important for you to understand this distinction, Alana, because unfortunately, what happens is, to your point, sometimes people in general, men and women, they come into an interaction with a belief, and an idea and that belief and idea can actually hurt their business because they're defensive or they're kind of looking for any little thing that comes off as, ooh, they're hitting on me, and then they close off, and then it's like, well, hold on, maybe they were just appreciating your work or something, and then we labeled it as they're hitting on me, and then they could have possibly been a client. I don't know. How do we determine that? Well, we trust ourselves, we trust our gut. We give them an opportunity one, two, three times, for
Yeah.
example, or maybe just once and twice. But now we have a structure. Now we have a play that we can run if and when that situation comes up.
Yeah, I think you're making a good point of like instead of uh like shutting down and being rude about it, just kind of like de-escalate in a playful, graceful way where you're like,
Yes.
I appreciate that. So anyways, let's talk about branding again. Like, you just kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, I appreciate that. So now tell me about this, you know? Because I've had that happen too. It's funny, like I've had interaction with maybe older women, and they say something about me or whatever, and they make an observation. I'll call it that. They're hitting on me. They're making an observation about me. I take that. That's called utilization. So in NLP, neuro linguistic programming, there's this idea of utilization, meaning anything and everything that happens in an interaction, you can choose to use that, utilize it. You can use that to move the interaction or the conversation forward in everybody's best interest, so then they tell me, hey, I really like this, right, or whatever. It's like, hey, no, I appreciate that, thank you so much. And so now tell right, and it's just very easy. So now tell me about this,
yeah,
so now I'm curious about that. So then I don't take it in the wrong way. I actually use that, because
right,
then that actually tightens rapport. Like that just means she's observing something about me, and I appreciate. I take that she's throwing a ball at me. I catch it and I throw it right back to her. Say, but now tell me more about this, and then it gets her thinking, okay, boom, and then we go back to what we're here for, which is growing the business or whatever.
right, right. It's not getting having that kind of attention. It's not the big scary monster. That it doesn't have to be this big scary monster. It could
Yeah,
be you can it could be like a little spider that you step on and then
yeah,
you go back to business. Okay.
yeah. That's right. And also honoring that sometimes we have arachnophobia, so it's like that little spider can feel like a massive thing, but we just have to come back to reality. Say, well, actually, I can handle that.
Yeah, I can handle that. Right.
Yeah, like I can handle that. I think I could deal with that.
Right. Oh my gosh, Luis, this has actually been such a helpful session. Like I wasn't expecting it to be this to the point of where my heart is at. This is like a soul excavation.
Yes,
Thank you.
of course. And with that said, as we wrap up here, what? Yeah, maybe talk about that, right? Like what? Because it's interesting for me in terms of market feedback. What was your expectation coming into a session like this, and then what did you actually get out of it?
Um, I I kind of came in out of like I just because I told you I would, so it was me keeping my promise.
Mm,
And I've been so busy that I just like I wanted to show up because I want to be true to my word, but I didn't
mm,
plan the our session. I didn't have any questions prepared. Um, I've I've got like just a list of tasks in front of me. So my
yeah.
plan today was to just be a taskmaster, and I didn't have any time to meditate and reflect on like, oh, what do I really want to ask Luis? So
Mm,
I wasn't expecting anything. I just wanted to be the type of person that keeps my word.
there we go.
And now that we've spent almost an hour together, I'm very glad that I came. I have some tools
Yes.
that make me less afraid of uncomfortable conversations. And it's
That
that
is powerful.
yeah, that fear of uncomfortable conversations has literally been blocking me from doing outreach
That
for
is
real
powerful.
for
That is
years.
massive. Yes, and that's what it comes down to. If I really think about it now, it's like, yeah, when it comes to sales, influence, leadership, it's having these difficult conversations that are uncomfortable because sometimes we can be dealing with difficult people that make conversations uncomfortable. So, how do we take our own leadership, our own power, our own goals, and use them to then guide the conversation in a way that's beneficial for them and ourselves? But it starts with just that idea of like, that's doable. I can do that, right? The whole spider thing, like it's not this massive thing. I can handle it, right? It's just being, what would you call that? Just getting a new level of perspective, of awareness, or
Yeah, it's almost like a it's not quite like exposure therapy, but just uh yeah, I mean I had a fear based off of real experiences in the past, but I am maturing through how I'm able to handle those things.
yes,
Yeah.
you are, yeah, yeah, you are able to handle those, and that's what it comes down to. So, as always, keep tuning in, and then we have a lot of people that watch the recording. So let us know in the school, like what are you taking from this? Because I personally, Alana, like took a lot in terms of that first piece, in terms of like, yeah, I have that stuff come up too. Like literally just yesterday, I was reaching out to people, and then I was like, wait, why am I feeling kind of weird and kind of like dreading this next hour on my calendar? And I was gonna distract myself with all this other stuff in my phone. It's like, no, wait, what am I doing? I'm reaching out to people, but no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm connecting. But why is that important for me? Well, because I want to build my business. I had my son's home now because he's dealing with a bit of a fever and stuff like that, and he's improving and all that. But I was like, well, I want to build a business for him and my wife, and now it becomes meaningful and not just, oh, I gotta check stuff off of my list and tasks. It's like, whoa, I'm doing it. It's, to Jasmine's point, that was wonderful, by the way. Like
She's
she was
great.
like, you're doing it. You're already in it. And so a lot of people out there want to start. Quick story, and then we'll end today. Recently in a podcast that I did, somebody asked me like, how did this even come about? Like, how did you get into this idea of like sales consulting and all that stuff? And I go, well, I worked at Oracle doing tech sales for a multi-billion dollar company, and I had the money, I had the title, I had this stuff, but then I looked around and all I saw were these like gray lifeless cubicles. And I was like, is that what I want? Is that my future? And then the short answer was absolutely not. But then it hit me because I was like, but I thought this is what I wanted. So then I had to make a decision and say, you know what? I can do this. It's scary, but I can do this. I can do something different, something more fulfilling. So I talked to my director, and this is the punchline. I told him what I was going to do, and he goes, using foul language, he goes, man, you're much braver than I am. Right. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And then he's like, yeah, man, I'm a director and all that stuff. So he's successful financially and otherwise. But he goes, and I'm getting chills. He's like, I've been trying to leave this role for God knows how long. And obviously I haven't done it. And I probably won't do it. And but it's like, man, you're so brave in his own way. Right. And then I was like, well, man, thank you. And I try to inspire him a bit. It's like, well, it's never too late. You can do this, right? And so then that always brings me back to the big why. Like whenever I'm reaching out to someone, I just got to remind myself, like, it's not just DMing someone cold. It's I want to build a business that is meaningful and is successful because I know that other people out there have that desire and they can or didn't take that chance, but you're doing it, for example. Alana.
Well, that makes me feel good. Thank you. Yeah, it's brave to build your own business, and it takes time. I've been building
Yes.
this business for like 2 years, and
Mm.
I'm I I I appreciate everybody who on the path on the journey has like
Yeah.
infused me with what I need to know for the next step because
Let's go.
you're a good teacher, Luis.
I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you tuning in and everybody else as well for tuning in. And this is kind of like that secret weapon I want to call it because when you tune into these spaces, like I told you, Jasmine was talking about, and even yourself, like this is co-creation at its finest. Like I don't know who's gonna show up. I don't know what you guys are gonna ask, but that's what makes it fun because I'm like, well, let's see.
Improv.
Like you know, yeah. It's so now with this, we're being creators. We're being creative. To Jasmine's point, we are that. That's what we're doing it right now. You know. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for tuning in, and for everybody else as well. Thank you, and then we'll see you guys in a week. Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. We'll see you soon. Take care.